difficulty, and I need to get a move on, so let's just do it. Not a bad ship. I didn't pay the level a lot of mind when I played it for the first time. It's kind of silly. Oh no! Okay. Like that, I just cannot react to. Okay, yeah, this one's like, yeah. I'm just trying to keep my reviews kind of brief here to save time. I'm not like a huge AbstractDark fan, frankly. I find the levels endearing for what they are, but the style always just feels a little bit, just a little choppy to me, if that makes sense. You know, like, the animations don't feel super fluid, the designs are kind of like, you know, it doesn't have a lot of fluidity. That's the main thing. It just kind of feels rigid. That's always kind of how I've felt about AbstractDark levels, and again, I find them endearing for what they are, but, like, I feel like people are kind of exaggerating how much of, like, a visual masterpiece this is. It's cool, though. Alright, what's next? I know what the levels are going to be, but Crypt of KRANDON. Okay, I was kind of thinking that. It's so hard to read that, but it makes total sense. Like, it's completely logical. This level's really fun. This one is very readable, and it's so fun. This level's gameplay is great. I love this. I kind of wish maybe it had a little more power to, like, each hit, but, like, for the most part it does really well. I give it an 8, probably a low 8. But I think it's just really well made, man. The gameplay in this is, like, pretty much perfect. The boss animations are fluid. The concept is just great. The story, the narrative, like, this is a good level. I love this one. Honestly. I just kind of wish it had a little more power to each, like, visual, like, impact moment. But, like, it's not, like, super underwhelming or anything. You know, just a little bit of a bigger hit here and there would go a long way. But that's a very fun level. I just don't have a lot to add. It's just a great theme and stuff. And that's about it. DLL. Okay, no coins in this one. This should be good. Oh my god, I'm too focused on... That's hard. It's really tricky. Oh, that's it. Okay. That was the final section where I died like 3 times. Sick. That was fun. Yeah, it's a bit in your face, and the randomization could be more prominent. I'd give it a solid 7. I really like the way it looks, just from a design perspective, but those filters hurt just a tad. I would like it more if it chilled out. But they are not level breaking. I don't think it would have been like an 8 or anything if it didn't have those. It's just a good level. Most of this song is like, you know, it's okay. I do like Frums quite a bit, but it's not the best From songs I've heard. Yeah, that's just a good level. I have pretty, like, moderate thoughts on that. Busted's here. Okay, cool. Weird. Okay. It's a good song. I don't usually like Torpedo Machine, so this is pretty impressive. Works well. Good level. Is that it? Huh. It's cool. I like the premise. I like the gameplay. Kind of on the short side. I kind of wish it gave me a little bit more. If you went into that guitar solo there, I was starting to hear at the end. Like, yeah, you could have totally done something. I should say now, like, I'm kind of giving ratings on the fly here, but I might go back and adjust some of these, like, if I check out some more of the randomization in them. Because, like, you know, I'm thinking to myself right now, this is probably like a solid 7. Like, the gameplay's good, the visuals are nice, but there's not anything, like, I super duper love about it. But it's hard to say, because there's probably so much more to this level that I just didn't see. It kind of feels very simple as is, but, like, a lot of the depth from these levels is going to come from the randomized gameplay. Okay, yeah, it's Randomverse. So yeah, it's really hard to say anything at the moment, just definitively. So I'll see what happens in the future with some of these entries. So yeah, ratings are definitely subject to change. So whatever I say, if it doesn't, at the end of a level, if it doesn't align with the rating you see at the beginning, that's why for this set of levels. It's just so hard to tell. Doesn't phase here. Alright, here we go. This is the big moment, right? Interesting. Okay, this is kind of neat. I'm guessing the helicopter would kill me. I don't think either of you did it. Whoa, that's a weird animation. Okay. Oh, the song changes are very welcome. Let me vibe. That it? Okay, that's kind of a... Okay, yeah, I definitely need to look more into the, randomization and so on. Okay. My immediate, like, impression... Yeah, I'll come back and get the coins later when I'm exploring the randomization options. I hate to, like, not get the coins in the video. I'll put, like, an overlay or something of me getting both coins in my repeat run. I'll just record with mic off. My impression of this level is like, okay, I get the concept and it's really cute. Like, I think there was a lot of potential here. The narrative is neat. But like, there's just, like, no energy to it, really. Like, it ended and I was like, oh, it's over. Like, there was no... I was expecting a climax or something when I got to the end, but it was like, it just is over now. Like, what? Like, yeah, the visuals and concepts are cool. It plays decently, although I don't think the gameplay was nearly as interesting as it was in any of the previous entries, especially not Crypt of KRANDON or Busted. I think, you know, again, I need to dive more into this level to see what it is. Right now, I'm thinking I'd give this like a 6. Like, the visuals are cool, but it's just, like, you know, it's following a lot of these 2.2 slop trends, like... And it's not really doing a lot with them. Like, you can justify slop sometimes, in my eyes. Just, you know, this level's not really using it to the fullest potential, I think. I think if you're gonna use that stuff, you really gotta go for it. Like, but there's just, like, no climactic moment in this. I really need to look into it more. It's a good level, it looks cool, it has a neat premise, but I just have no idea what's, like, really supposed to appeal to me at the moment. So yeah, I'll look into that more later. Good for me, I did it. Alright, I.O. by 7AK. I like 7AK levels typically, so this will probably be very good. Someone's beating me to death. Up, down, 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 stay down, stay down, now go straight. Hey. Yeah, I was thinking through it right. Makes a lot of sense to me. Alright, weird spider part time. It does make sense. Okay. Okay, do I win? Got it. Yeah, okay, wow. That one was way too hard. How many attempts was that? 64 attempts! Did not need to happen. Good level. I'd give it a 7, and I almost would have given it an 8, but there were a couple things that just bothered me. I really wish the camera zoomed out a little more for you. Like, I found it really hard to see in a couple parts, just what was coming up, and I don't know, I think having more range of visibility would help. But, like, other than that, the gameplay's great. I love the concept and different ideas it uses. It's pretty simple. I think it goes the furthest with the randomization than any other level so far, which is probably why it feels the hardest so far, but I don't know, it's hard to say. It's a good level though, I had fun with that. Pretty cool. Fukashigi. What the heck? What is happening? I'm going into the background. Okay, this is weird. I don't know if I can do the math like that again, dude. I literally guessed. It was an educated guess, but I love this thing. Oh boy, 176, 174, right? Yeah. Okay, on PC. Looks for me. This song goes really hard. I'm not like a huge Camellia fan or anything either. Oh, dude, this is awesome. Oh, that's, okay, not what I was expecting. It's still not over! What the heck? I did an end screen ages ago. That was good. Okay, 8 out of 10. Awesome. That was awesome. Like, the gameplay's not even that great. That was just so hype. What? That was sick. Dude, I did not expect it to be that good. Like, the gameplay could honestly be better. Like, I really wish it did a little bit more, especially with that duel part. The thing is, the best part of this level is definitely song representation. It represents the song really well. Just all the little flourishes, like, they feel like randomizing sound effects. That's cool, that's awesome, I love that. Where it just, you know, I just kind of wish it played a little better. Like, that duel part in particular, I think to myself, like, you know, this is a cool concept. I like it. I really wish it were more than just orb clicks. I think there could have been, like, a lot more potential with this. I love what it did, though. This level has a great theme. I liked this a lot. And it plays decently. And it's a little in your face, but it feels like it's more justified here, because it's just the concept we're going with. I don't know. Okay, we're doing update disorder before dronification. I guess that kind of makes sense, but I want to know how long this is, but it's XL, obviously. There's 3 coins in this. I should probably practice this to see if I can get an idea for the coins.
It's okay. I'll just go back and get it later when I'm not recording. It's fine. I'm kind of mad at myself though for missing that coin. Whatever. I'm trying to make good progress right now, so it's not worth it at the moment. I need to go back for the coin in Randomverse anyway. Okay, I have to say, I was a little disappointed in this. Don't get me wrong, the visuals are great. DangerousROBOT just has like this fantastic visual style, and that applies to this level just like every other. It does pretty much everything in the visual department right, and the gameplay in the first half is great. I think every section leading up to the quote-unquote drop, I guess you'd call it, is really solid. But it's around that 60% corridor where things start to get a little bit hazy. Just, I think the balancing's a little bit off. It does get a little bit harder, and it's harder to see as well. Those two things is kind of make it spike in difficulty, and they kind of take down the fun of it a bit. I still think it's a great level. I don't know, it's hard for me to hate this level because I was so hell-bent on just getting into the gauntlet. Just because I wanted to see this creator in a gauntlet. But I guess my bias got the best of me. It's still a good level though. I'll go with a 7. I was really hoping to go a little bit higher with it, but I mean, I'm not too surprised that the gameplay suffers just a little bit. It's alright though, overall. Oh, I did not mean to start.
So locked at the end.
Okay. Gosh, that's a good level. I like it. I love this concept. I was surprised to see at the end it kind of broke out of the dual mode a little more, which I was also like perfectly okay with because I don't know how much more I could have done. This level's great. Wow. Great design, great gameplay. It's definitely tricky because I'm not used to the 2-player levels that much. I've played like 1. It's not my strong suit, so it's a learning curve, but it's interesting to have a 2-player level in a gauntlet because, you know, they're kind of few and far between. I'm glad ivyteal did one for this contest, and I'm glad it won. That's about it. I don't know, the visuals and gameplay are great, song rep's great. I don't have a lot else to add though. It's just, you know, it's just overall really good. And that brings me to Project Novaform, which is kind of scary, but we're gonna see how it goes. because you can get the coins on separate runs, I'm well aware. You know, you can get the damageless on one and then the hard mode with damage to get the other two. But I went into this thinking that you needed to like get a damageless hard mode run to get the third coin. I was wrong, but I'm very proud of myself for actually like going the extra mile and doing that additional challenge. That was really fun. Okay. I mean, like, I could talk about the visuals. I mean, some may call them cinema slop. I guess that's kind of true. It's kind of got the hyper-realism style that a lot of very lackluster levels use. But I really don't care. The gameplay is just so fun. I really like this mechanic with the parry system. It did force me to get a lot better at focusing it on two things at once. Obviously, dronification was already pushing my two players' ability. So the fact that another level did that just in a different way was a bit much for me, but I figured it out. The only issue with it really is I just don't like playing with my left hand, and I definitely don't like playing with the W key, because it just feels way less responsive than the mouse. So it was a learning curve, but once I actually got into it, it was really fun. I do have to critique though, and this is mostly applied to the hard mode. I think that if you're doing a casual run through the levels perfectly fine, but in the hard mode, if you like, it's not balanced. Like, there are some hazards that can appear that are way harder than others. Like, in the boss part of the level, if you get the missile attack, like, that was almost as good as instant death. I think I somehow managed to survive that this time, but that attack is so much harder than, like, any other. And then, you know, some are just free, some, like, it's, you know, the randomization really unbalances the difficulty. I don't think it's really a huge deal since it's completely optional with the coin route, but that was a thing that bothered me. Aside from that, though, I just love the mechanic. It's just so fun. I do wish it went with the more appealing visual style, but it's not a deal breaker. I'd give it a solid 8. This was a lot of fun. I was very pleasantly surprised by these gauntlets. I still think at the end of the day my favorite is Crypt of KRANDON. This one was just like by far the most fun and the best themed. But like the only bad level really was Randomverse, and I'd still hardly call that a bad level. It's just like meh. So overall a huge improvement from both the NCS and Space Gauntlet contests, and I hope future Gauntlet contests will sort of stay along that trajectory with their theme. Either way though, I was really happy with that. That was fun, even though it was way too big of a time sink for right now. I need to make good headway for the rest of the month if I'm gonna get through these levels. What is that ending? That's such bizarre song rep. Okay, wow. That was interesting. I guess I could say this is probably one of my most adversarial relationships with a level, just based on like the history I've had with it. I've tried this several times, and it always lagged too bad on my old computer. Now that I have a good computer that can actually run like insane levels, I can actually play this, although it's still like extremely choppy in the ending. So, I mean, take that as you will. I have like slightly mixed opinions on this. I think it's a cool level for about the first 70%. I have no complaint in the majority of it, but then the ending is just like so out of left field and like ridiculous and inconsistent that it just kind of killed part of the experience for me. I'd give it a solid 6. I would have gone with a 7 if the ending were a little more functional. But it's just not. I still enjoy the visual design of this level, and I like the song a lot. It's a great song. But it's just way too flashy at the end, and the gameplay drops off significantly. So, that put a bit of a what towel over the whole experience. It's not bad. But that was not exactly what I expected from the end. Had higher hopes. But it's not, again, it's not a terrible level. It's mostly good. It's one of those things that's hard to excuse. Moving on though. I guess, oh, SMR Redux is the name of the team, isn't it? Okay. Yeah, okay, that's cool. It's funny. Okay, I love the meme. The joke is great. A level called Circles with no circles. Like, yeah, that's really funny. Functionally, it's kind of terrible. I'm exaggerating. I actually did really enjoy playing this, but the custom orbs are just, like, so not fun to try to sight read. Like, really not fun. I say sight read, I just mean, like, you know, just fun, not fun to play in general. But, like, ultimately what we have here is, like, a really good fundamental, like, layout for a level. It's just decorated in such a way that kind of made it a little less fun to play, but I still love the vibe, and, you know, once I actually learned what I was doing, figured it out, got consistent, it was not nearly as bad as it was on an initial run-through. But this level just scared me because I saw the custom orbs and how they change every single section, and I was like, this is not gonna happen fast. Luckily, it wasn't too bad, and it was actually pretty funny at the end of the day. I'd give it, like, a mid-7, I would say, probably. Just because I love the decoration and the vibe. It's just kind of like a mystical but laid back feel to it. And like the last section with the stars and stuff, it kind of had like a Mario Kart Rainbow Road sort of vibe. I don't know why. That's just what I got from it. With just how spacey it is. I love the basic geometry, but how it still makes such beautiful, intricate designs with like that limited tool set, consisting of no circles. Yeah, this one was fun. I liked this a good bit. I do wish the gameplay cleaned up a little in the earlier sections, though, and that's about it. Or just in like the orb parts. That's what I meant to say. Range's not working. Fun. But it's late and I want to go to sleep, so I'll review in post-production. But I'm glad I did it. Yay. Oh, wow. My luck just, like, doesn't exist tonight for some reason. I guess this is what I get for saying I deserved that fluke on Yatagarasu last night, because wow. I just, like, made up for that and how much I struggled here. Okay, wow, that was fun. Cool. I do want to talk about it a little bit, because it's flawed. Actually, I mean, like, I really didn't have any issues with it in practice. When I practiced for the first time, I was like, okay, it's hard, but it's very doable, and it's very creative and fun to play. Thought it was going to be fine. Played it for a while, got it good in practice, and I was like, okay, well, this is pretty light work. And I was even thinking, like, maybe giving it an 8. I kind of knew the visuals were a little generic, which is why I was hesitant, but, like, the gameplay was honestly really fun at first. But typically when I practice a level, I don't practice from, like, earlier than, like, 20%. And it just so happens that all the frustrating parts happen in the first 20%, so I didn't really realize that this level was going to be a slog, because the first cube is very monotonous, very repetitive. Timings are kind of awkward, and it's just kind of simplistic. It's kind of like playing the 8-0 intro, except it's a lot easier. Go figure. So it was kind of at that point I realized, yeah, it's not quite as great as I thought. The rest of the level is mostly very fun. It's really just that opening part that kind of wore me down. That, and I don't know why this didn't happen more in practice, but I don't know what dark sorcery is happening at the 40% ship that just makes you randomly die at that one gravity change section. That really, really frustrated me. I don't know what was killing me there. It's just some imaginary hazard that was like, ugh, who even knows? It's not a deal breaker or anything, but that and the intro, those two parts just kind of wore me down over time and made me take way longer than I needed to on this. But that's a lot, kind of the extent of my gameplay critiques. The rest of it, like I said, very fun. I love some of the gimmicks it uses. Like, I love the spinning block mechanic around, like, what, 30% I think it is. I love the snake block mechanic. There's just so much cool stuff this level does, and it really feels like a true iteration on the Theory of Everything series. It just feels like it could realistically be a Rob Top level, other than difficulty. Rob Top wouldn't do a level this hard as an official level, but my point still stands that, like, it stylistically feels like just a continuation of that series. So, I think from a visual and gameplay standpoint, it's pretty much perfect. Excuse maybe, like, the last ball swing thing. I don't think Rob Top would ever do that. But, like, again, iterates on the theme very well. And this is the last critique I have, and this is what really kind of drove the level down for me in score. I just don't like this song. This does not, while the level, like, does match the Theory of Everything series, this song does not feel like a continuation of that at all. Like, it completely lacks that mysterious, yet very intense atmosphere. It just never really builds, and at the same time, it's just not melodically interesting. Like, I know it's not really the level's fault, because, I mean, you know, what else were you gonna use? You can't use a non-Theory of Everything 3 song to Theory of Everything. You can, but, like, I feel like it also missed the point in that regard. Like, when you do this, you're just kind of stuck with, like, a bad song, and you really have no choice to get out of that. It's like, and that just really bored me. The song's boring, and that was really detrimental. It's a shame. The gameplay, like I said, two problematic parts aside, very fun. But I just had less fun with it, ultimately, because of the song and camera issues. I don't know. I'd probably give it a very high 6 at the end of the day. I might rank it, like, right above How It Feels, which I know is kind of biased because I recently played that level, but I don't know. I'm too tired to think about it as well. It's like, what, 1:30 in the morning? Yeah, 1:43. Shame I can only get one level done in this session, but hey, it is what it is. Okay. Neat. I like it. I'd probably go with like a high 6 or something. I was gonna go 7. The only thing holding it back is the stupid upside down ship physics. I hate them. They suck. I died at the upside down ship a lot of times just because the physics are bad and I'm not used to them, and that's really, really frustrating. So I think 6 is fair. I was gonna go 7, but at the end of the day, it's not really like interesting enough in either gameplay or visuals to like really justify anything higher, unless the gameplay is like just perfect and like flawless. And it almost was, but then the upside down ship physics ruined that. Sorry. I do like the level though. I don't hate it or anything. I just was a little let down by that one thing. Overall, it was fun enough. 50-second. Cool. Yes! Let's go! Oh, I've been holding out for this. I've wanted this ball for a long time. I have had my eye on it. Yes. It's a great ball. That looks awesome. Yeah, I'll probably use that next time I change my icons. I love that ball. It's so cool. And I got that other cool ball that didn't die. I got 2 new ones, don't I? Yeah, this looks sick too. I'm gonna stick with the chance gauntlet icon for now, but yeah, I've got 2 new balls to use, so that's exciting. Yeah. How fun. I don't even know where that ball's at. There it is. Okay. Alright, well, I've got... Yeah, that's the silver lining with that level. Safety... second. There we go. This level's fun. I love this. It has some flaws in its gameplay, mostly camera-related stuff, I would say. But, like, it just looks really nice. It's a beautiful level. I love the blooming flowers and like the gorgeous water design. It's really nice. I mean, this is great. I love this. The game, the gameplay could be a little bit better. It does have its moments, though. I think there's just some parts that are pretty awesome. Like, they have a nice flow state to them. Like, a lot of the flying stuff is pretty good. And the spider works. Like, there's not really, again, there's not a lot in the raw gameplay I would criticize here, really. It really just comes down to, it just comes down to, like, camera movement and stuff. Also, there's one transition with, like, a UFO or something that's kind of awkward because it kind of, like, has a teleporter to save you. That's, like, I don't know about that, but it's not the end of the world, at all. I think it's fine. I think it's acceptable. And the visuals, again, the visuals carry this pretty well. It is a bit raw in some places, for better or for worse. Like, I can see some pretty generic looking rock designs in the background. A couple places, you know, just simple toolkit items that, like, they don't kill my immersion, but they don't really help it either. I like the level overall. It's nice. It's just, you know, it's got imperfections, but I enjoyed it. Why can't I fly? Does the stupid 2.2 physics affect my brain in some, like, unknowable way? I don't know, unknowable. No, this is part. Okay, now it's when. Sorry about that. Fine! Actually, like, yeah, whatever.
I mean, like, no, it was okay. It was okay. But, you know, kind of generic 1.9 gameplay is like, whatever.
I would probably rate this a 6. Maybe a 5. I'd say a low 6 is more fair. I don't have a lot to say on it, though. It's just a generic 1.9 style level with, like, okay gameplay. The piano part was neat, I guess. I have nothing else to add. But I did it, yeah, GG. Yay! That's fun! I love the gameplay. This is so fun. It's a little... That blind ending is like, you can go either way on that. That's like... You know... It's not that hard to memorize because it's like, what, 9 floors of hell or something? I don't know. Stupid joke. It doesn't actually make sense, I don't think. But no, as for like the gameplay, it's honestly really fun. It has its weird moments, but like I don't dislike it even remotely, really. It's pretty fun overall. And on top of that, level looks great. I love Zoroa's style. I play a lot of Zoroa levels because I like the way they look. Go figure, right? I know it's crazy to think that I would play levels by a creator I like the style of, but it's just true. I need to play more because there's so many of them. There's so many, and they're always fire. Yeah, that was a good one. I really have nothing profound to say on it. It's just good. I would rate it a solid 7 out of 10. That's about the extent of it. Yeah, good job. That was fun. I get with a basic 6. It's like, you know, I can't believe I've like never seen this level before. I know it's kind of like massively popular or something, but I just never cared. I'm not gonna waste time on with you though. It's a good level. It's kind of unremarkable though. I'd go with a 6 on it. Somewhere in the middle. I don't really care. It doesn't matter. I'm trying to save time because I've got too many things to put in this video. So we're just moving on. Okay. Let's go. Okay, it's a generic 9 circles level. I don't have much to say on that. The wave starts too early, and I don't like the ending. It's a ship section for no reason. But you know what? I didn't hate it. It was a little awkward in places, but like all around the gameplay is like fine. It's somewhere in the C tier. I just don't have a very strong preference on this one. It's just generally fine. I only did it because now I get to do that. Yay. Love diamonds. page of chests. It's crazy. Okay, that's a decent pull. Whatever. Okay. So the other night, when I beat Yatagarasu, or the Yatagarasu, don't want to get those mixed up. I didn't review it just because it was late and I was tired and I wanted to sleep. And I said I'd review it in post-production, so let's just do that now that I've done the Hydragaryu. Overall, I thought the Yatagarasu was like a pretty flawed level. There was a lot to like about it just from an atmospheric standpoint, but it was mostly the gameplay in that level that kind of just drove it down for me. It's a memory boss. I don't care much for memory boss fights. There's a reason I haven't played Serious, my funny game. This is one of those levels. And it's just not a very fun style level. Once you know the route and you kind of have it locked into your memory, the flying is fun, but it's just kind of frustrating to learn. The trial and error, dying to the same things over and over again until eventually you remember this is where this is, and so on and so forth. So ultimately that was my issue with this, but I did have a lot of respect for what it did visually. I thought like the art style, it kind of was inconsistent because it felt a little, outside of the boss fight itself, it felt a little cartoony to really like match the intensity of the Yatagarasu itself, the boss fight. But I didn't really mind that too much because all the parts, they looked really cool in their own right. And there were just a couple other parts, like, I don't know, there were some parts that looked really cool. I especially really liked the nighttime chase sequence, like in the city, when the bird's kind of behind you. Like, I feel like the only thing I'd really criticize, like, about the atmosphere of the Yatagarasu is the boss itself. And again, that's another thing that really drives the score down, because if your boss doesn't have, like, an intimidating presence, like, you know, how am I really supposed to feel invested in it? I didn't hate it or anything, but it just felt a little inconsistent here and there, with how, like, serious it really was. So, with all those critiques in mind, I think at the end of the day, I probably would have given the Yatagarasu, like, about a 5 out of 10. I think that's fair enough. It was, like, overall an interesting level, but the gameplay score just kind of drives that down, unfortunately. But it's not a bad level. But then, we get to the Hydragaryu, or Garyu, or however it's pronounced, I do not know. I always thought this was a sequel to the Yatagarasu. I did not think it was a remake to the Yatagarasu. I was very disappointed when I played this level for the first time and realized that about 60% of the level is just copy and pasted from the previous one. You've got some redecoration in the first couple sections, but for the most part that's largely the same. The background and the boss, I think, is identical, and I'll talk about the boss design itself because we'll get there. The first half of the city part's the same, and I think pretty much everything from the memory cube after the second phase of the boss, everything from there to the end is the same, except for the very end, because for some reason, now if you don't straight fly at the end, you die after you've defeated the boss, which is just horrible. That's terrible. I'm glad I didn't die at 98, but that was a real possibility that I was very scared of. Luckily, it didn't happen. But the thing I really need to talk about with this level is just the new boss design, and it's just like, why? Like, okay, I talked with some friends in Discord, in the Whirl server, about, you know, why are these two levels the same thing, because I had no idea why this level in particular had a reason to exist. And they said that the original one was remade because apparently it, like, stole assets or something from a smaller artist. So now, instead of taking art from a smaller artist, we're, what I assume, I don't play Pokemon, but we're now taking art from a major corporation, which, I mean, like, is better than taking from a small artist, but, like, when it comes to sampling in Geometry Dash, I just don't really have a problem with it. I think if you're using it in an appropriate way, and, like, you know, you're not, like, completely hiding the act of borrowing, like, who cares? It's fine. That really didn't take away from the Yatagarasu for me. I thought the art, you know, even if it was borrowed, it was still cool, it looked good, and, like, it's not like a blatant rip-off of anything. Here, like, just using a Pokemon of some sort, I don't know which one, like I said, I don't play Pokemon, it just feels worse. Like, it's very noticeable that this is, like, it's more noticeable that this is not your art. You're just taking from, like, a major franchise and, like, borrowing, I don't know, it doesn't make sense to me. Like, I really can't put into words, like, why I hate it as much as I do, but it just loses a lot of, like, for lack of a better word, aura. Like, I don't know. And on top of that, I'll just add, the gameplay's worse because of it, like, especially the second phase of the boss. I don't know what the thought process was behind the new section, probably because it's a lot harder to have the boss chase you from behind when it takes up half the screen. That may have something to do with it. But that part just plays worse especially, and the first phase of the boss is not any better. And then, of course, you have to get past the fact that this level is just a remake of another level, and it uses, like, 60% of the same stuff. I do not like the Hydragaryu. This one is significantly worse. I would rate this a 3 out of 10. The original's fine. It's a 5, I think. This one, I'm not fond of. It just, I don't know, it just loses a lot of intimidation, stage presence, whatever it may be. But, at the very least, the silver lining in all of this is that it's a nice and easy recompletion, since the gameplay is largely the same. So it only took me a few minutes to get through that. I didn't have to relearn any patterns. And that's that. I have nothing else to really add on either of those two levels. That's kind of the extent of my review. It wasn't like a miserable playing experience for either of them, but I just was a little frustrated in the end with what I got. But that's that. So yay, that's cool. Good. Fun gameplay. Good visuals. I don't have a lot to add. It does a lot with, like, the weird screen filter effect things, which kind of obscure my vision gameplay-wise here and there, but, like, I don't mind that much, really. It's fine. Overall, this is pretty good. Probably just, like, a low 7 or something. Had a fun time. Oh my god, please! If I choke this, I have the worst nerve control ever. It's, like, decided. That will not happen. I will not let that happen. Yes! Oh my god! That's... This is, like, I don't know what went wrong in my mind to make this the experience it was. But, oh my god! What is wrong with me? That's crazy. Good lord. I don't know how my brain misfired as much as it did. This, like, I don't even know if I can call it, like, the most miserable experience I've had to date. I really don't know. I feel like I've said that many times. I feel like this is not a first. Maybe I just need to live with the fact that I'm awful at this game. Maybe that's what needs to happen. Like, I just cannot imagine, though, like, how any level could potentially end up with this experience. Is there another level where I have died at the end, like, 10 times, and one without a coin? Like, I just don't know. Like, I can't remember these things, man. Oh my god. I did it. Yay. This was a terrible choice. This was not a good time. I was not built for this level yet. I should not have done this yet. It was not the right time. Oh my god. Okay. Okay. Let's review it. Because that's, like, you know, that's why we play these levels. This is why we dump these hours into these levels. And it is so I can talk about them, how good they are, or how bad they are, or whatever it may be. Okay. Let's start with the gameplay. I love this gameplay. You know, excuse my, like, horrendous, like, you know, ramblings about how miserable this was. No, genuinely, this is so fun. I would be way more mad if this level weren't fun at all. This has to be, like, a top contender for gameplay, in my eyes. I can think of very few levels that even come close, like, to this level of quality. I think maybe, like, Witter and Jamais Vu, and, like, that's about it. This is so fun. Like, I love the way this plays, which is crazy because there's so much going on. Again, we'll dive into the visuals in just a moment. But, like, I just love the way it plays. Very creative, very gimmicky, but it doesn't, like, overdo it to the point. It gives it to you straight. It tells you this is what's happening, this is what you have to do. It doesn't throw you any crazy memory curveballs or anything. It doesn't throw you anything out of the ordinary. Like, it is very, very, like, accessible. Sure, there are a couple of weird gimmicks. There's some screen wrap stuff going on. You've got the blocks that, you know, disappear when you hold, like the eye block things. And I guess you could argue that one spider part, like around the halfway point, is memory. I don't know if that's exactly true. It's really more a challenge of observation. Although a lot of memory gameplay tends to be challenges of observation, especially in something like TOTU or just anything like that, where, like, the object or the hazards are still visible, just harder to see. Like, yeah, okay. You could make an argument for that. But, like, overall, this is, like, really straightforward. It gets, like, right to the point. It's just a matter of, like, you know, learning the patterns, you know, figuring it out. It works really well. The level plays fantastically. I really don't even know if I have any complaints. Maybe the ship sections felt a little frustrating, but, like, I'm not a good flyer. So, you know what, who cares? Visuals also just, like, blew me out of the water. I had no idea what I was getting into with this. I had a general idea. I knew it was kind of going to be in a Devon style, but I also knew it wasn't going to conform completely to that. I knew it was going to be a little creative. And yeah, at the end of the day, it works, like, really well. I love the way this looks. The frame-by-frame animations are just done so well. It strikes this perfect balance of, like, you know, rigid frame-by-frame movement and, like, really smooth, like, animations and stuff. Like, different sprites are designed in different ways, because you've got, like, the kinds of that are, like, pixelated, and you got the ones that are like made up of those layered slabs, which just looks sick, by the way. Like, I love that creative decision to just layer those like 1.0 like slab blocks. I'm sure they're not actually 1.0, but that's what it reminds me of. It just does a lot of that, and it looks sick. I love it. But you've also got some light realism. Not realism to the point where it's like, you know, soulless slop like Cherry Team or something. It's like, you know, you've got these ghostly figures that just look really intimidating and scary. Like, it's not a horror level, but it's a really uncomfortable environment with the way it mixes and matches all these, like, completely disconnected parts to create... It's just insane. And that leads me, like, into, like, you know, what is the premise of this level? What is the story? I don't remember if this was, like, an official confirmation that I read by Saturno, or if it was just, like, a comment I read, like, speculating or something. But, like, what I've gathered about this level, like, narratively, is that this is, like, an abandoned... maybe not abandoned, but it's an old factory, and, like, these skeletons are, like, supposed to be the souls of the workers who died there. You can see that a lot of the times their skulls are shattered, there's gears in their system. Like, it's kind of... It's, like, it's cool, but it's kind of scary. It's kind of disturbing. Like, you know... These are the souls of, like, factory workers who lost their lives in, like, these tragic accidents, who knows how long ago. But, like, still the factory, like, is alive. It feels like a real, like, intimidating space. I kind of think back to Man with this. This is obviously very different, and one that is, you know, safe for work. Not literally, just, like, you know. But in one, like, you know, it's not nearly as explicit. And it's also just got a completely different style going on. But I think of that level because, like, you know, Man conveys, like, this real profound sense of danger. It is not a hospitable environment. It's made to feel clunky and awkward and, like, just really, like, against the player. Like, it's a dangerous place. You should not be here. And that's exactly what this level does. Again, it's not as graphic, grotesque, what have you, as Man. But it just puts you into this environment, and it's, like, completely, like, against, like, the structure of a typical Geometry level, and it's like, just do it, man. Like, just play it. You know, deal with it. It's weird, it's awkward, but you just kind of have to live with that. And that's just kind of awesome. I love the atmosphere it gives this level. And the storytelling, and just, like, you know, the immersion. It's really cool. Also, Spiders is a song by Acid Notation, just like Chef's Kiss of a choice. I don't really like this song even that much. I don't hate it. I like it. I don't love this song or anything, but, like, it works so well with this, like, insane, like, shrill, grating sound. Like, it's just pounding. It, like, urges you to go away. Like, leave this space. It's not made for you. You aren't supposed to be here. I love that. It's just, it's excellent, man. And I'm gonna list my one critique here. I do have one mild criticism about this level. And it's mostly comes down to the skeleton art itself, because, like, as much as I like the use of skeletons to represent the lost souls of the factory, they aren't consistent in their design, and I feel like that makes the level a little too goofy. Like, you know, I still feel a sense of, like, danger and, fear and stuff with this level, but, you know, then you see, like, this Sans the Skeleton cube bobbing around at the top of the level, and I'm like, why are we doing this? Like, Sans did not die in this factory. I can't be convinced of that. That just didn't happen. Okay, so I think to myself, like, you know, like, that's not the end of it. That's the one thing that comes to mind. But you've got a number of, like, skeletons that just don't really fit that terrifying style. Like, they just seem more like decoration than they do, like, actual souls. And I think that loses a lot of, I think it loses a little bit of the tension. Kind of deflates it just a tad. Not a big deal. I still think it's fine, and, you know, all those disconnected skeletons, they still look great.
even if they don't fit the theme. It's just a matter of, thematic preference. Overall, I think this level is just excellent. I would put it right at the peak of 9. I think this is, like, the best 9 out of 10 I can play. Like, or have played. I don't see how you do much better than that without going into S tier territory. It's an excellent level. I love it. And I'm really tempted to put it at a 10, but I really don't know if I can compare it to my other Insane Demon 10s. Crossroads, you can make an argument, but like Dark Travel and Comatose are just like, they're a little out of this one's league. I'm sorry. But that's really all I have to say on the level. Although I will say, just as a general GD commentary, please make this the Mythic standard, man. This is what a Mythic should be, dude. Like, the only Mythic better than this is Out of Place. Like, and this still plays better than that, but it just doesn't have the atmosphere to the same degree. This is, like, what Mythic level should be. Should not be the hyper-realism cherry slop that we see in, like, the Space Gauntlets and NCS Gauntlets and stuff. No, do this. This is so fun. This is so good. Like, make it a movement to just make this the Mythic standard, I beg. I think this is probably the least popular Mythic, which is, like, a crying shame. I'll fact-check myself here, but if we go to classic Mythics, like, I think this is, like, back page. Yeah, that's just, like, depressing. And I know it's a higher difficulty. I know it's a higher skill ceiling than that. But that's, that just needs to be the standard, dude. Because it's so good. I feel like, Oh, and the last thing I'll say, I'm so happy this was an Insane Demon, too, and not an Extreme. This could have very easily been an Extreme. There was nothing stopping it from being. But I think putting it at that accessible skill level just, like, really cements this one. It's like, it's great. Like, would it have been worse if it were an Extreme Demon? Debatable. You could have really just kept the gameplay the same and made it tighter, and it would have worked fine, like, as an Extreme. But I just think making it more accessible to a broader demographic is, like, the best thing you could have done in this situation. It's great. I love it. Heavy Gears, that was phenomenal. I love it. Just sitting at the cusp of 9. I had a great time. That is, yeah, I love it. Okay, I've talked forever. I'm done with this level. Moving on with our lives. I like this level overall, but I really have one major complaint, and it's that the second coin is just terrible. Like,
I don't know. I do want to, like, you know, be clear. I like the level overall. It's got a great song, great intensity, great visuals, great gameplay. But oh my god, I don't know, like, why you would make a second coin like that. Like, terrible coins are not like an uncommon thing. Like, they exist. There are plenty of them. But like, like if you're gonna make a terrible coin knowingly, just own it, man. You don't have to like put a death effect that actively discourages going for it, because it just slows down the process. It makes it harder to learn from your mistakes. Like, just disregard the fact that it's not good to begin with. But like, the slow learning process due to that death effect and stuff, it just makes it frustrating. Yeah, like, ideally don't make terrible coins, but if you're gonna make a terrible coin, just do it. Like, don't be a fake apologetic about it. Just commit to the bit. I wish this level did that. Aside from that, it's really fun. I think the gameplay's great. And like I said, I love the song. The melody in the song is just so good. That's about all I have to say. I don't know. I'm just kind of too sidetracked by the coin on this one. I do like the level, though. Overall, pretty cool. I'd give it a 6. I'd give it a high 6. I don't think it's quite as good as Raven by the same creator. But hey, what can you do? Otherwise, not too bad. Okay. I've heard Demon Sanders, that's kind of light work. Still tricky, but still not too bad. And honestly, more fun for a temple level. I don't know why I say that pretty much every time. Literally, the only temple level I've disliked is Forest Temple. Which, I guess, I'm just kind of thinking, because, like, what? Like, why the... okay? I don't know what that's all about. But anyway... yeah, no, that's fine. Forest Temple's really the only one I don't like that much. This one plays perfectly fine. I think it's still kind of a low end, in the lower range of quality. I'd probably like put it at the very bottom of like a 6 out of 10, very bottom of B tier maybe. But there's nothing I dislike about it really. It's just very, very simplistic and kind of like empty. I do like the designs and structures and stuff it does, like when it does them. It's just, you know, there's a lot of empty space there as well, which kind of makes it a little underwhelming. And the gameplay here and there can be awkward. But in other parts, it's really fun. I don't have a lot to say on it really. It's just kind of a decent temple level. I would go with the solid 6 out of 10. I have no issues. It's still better than Forest Temple. Yeah, it was fun. good song. I haven't heard it since I played Past by Najfu. I forgot how good it is. It's a great level. Usually I wouldn't record a level of an easier nature like this. Just kind of, you know, when I'm playing around in recent levels. But this one I started playing and I was immediately just like, wow, that's kind of incredible for 1.9 GDPS. Very atmospheric, very like, very intricate with its detail despite, you know, the older style it's building in. I don't really know how to how to put it. It's just really good. Just like, you know, a couple little things. I'm not going to spend forever on this review just because this was kind of a random level I just came across. Like, I love the way it represents the song because, like, the song uses a lot of these little flourishes that are kind of like old antique clock machinery. Like, you've got bells chiming and like a sort of wooden creaking sound and all these little things that are represented perfectly in the level with how there's little frame by frame movements that just like very slightly but perfectly depict all of those little sounds. And like, you know, gameplay is pretty solid overall. It just looks great. I mean, the only thing I'd really criticize, I would criticize a couple of gameplay parts just for being a little bit maybe either too difficult for the rest of the level or just not really fitting, or just being a little bit awkward, hard to understand. That's all. But if I, aside from that, if I had to criticize the visual aspects of this level, I would say all the parts don't really fit together super well. There's a couple of sections that just don't really fit the theme of the level, which is supposed to be kind of like a clock tower, but then you have like this crystal mine and a weird train section and the sky section. Like, if you take them out of the context of the setting, then I mean they fit together fine. So it's really just like a case of a title taking away from the level a little bit. Which is never like the end of the world, but it can, the title of a level can be kind of a big thing when you're trying to like convey the artistic style or vision you want to go for. And I think just be careful with that. As a standalone level though, it's really good. I was pleasantly surprised to find this, and I just kind of wanted to record and share it. I would award this probably a solid 8. Probably a high 8. I'd say I like it more than Past, honestly. It's a good, Past is a good level, but I think this one just is a little more impressive with its visuals. And that's about all I have to say. Pretty awesome. Oh my god! Dude. Can't just be letting that happen, man. Oh my! Are you kidding me? Oh my god! That never happened! Never ever in practice has that happened. Oh my god! That's just not real. Are you serious? Never died like that. I don't think there was ever an attempt, even like learning, that happened. If it did, it never happened past the learning phase. Are you serious? Oh my god. You're not real. Yes! Oh my god! Oh, Jesus Christ. Thank you so much. Ugh. I'm done with this, dude. Oh. I feel like I'm being punished by the fates. This was just miserable, man. Oh my god. I'll take this review seriously in a moment, but I just want to complain for a second. Oh, dude. I just don't know why I end up in situations like this. Like, I practiced so thoroughly for like 4 days before like recording attempts, and like I felt so good. I was getting like runs to the end from like 43, like the entire drop. It was just going so smoothly. And then runs started, and I just got completely, like, floored by the first 20% of this level or so. Like, the first... the balancing. I'm gonna get there, but I'm just, like... This was so exhausting. Just... Dude, and then you have the fact that I died past 90% like 5 times, and and by the end of it I was just like, oh my god, I can't do it anymore. And then I feel like I died in every possible way at the end, like every terrible possible way. I just don't even know. Okay, let's talk about it. How is this level? Is this level good? Is it bad? What's its deal? I kind of already alluded to this. I think it's a beautiful level atmospherically. Visually, you know, it's a little bit amateur. Obviously, this level shows its age of... oh, you can't even see the date. Cool. Like, obviously, this is a very old, very rough, around the edges level. I don't have a problem with that, personally. I think it looks great considering what it was working with for the era, just, you know, with build standards like 7 years ago. Like, yeah, it's honestly pretty cool. And again, atmosphere, mostly song carried atmosphere, but like, it still just does a lot of really neat things that just look, or just feel great. I mean, the way it kind of symbolizes, like, all the different parts of the song. I like how, like, near the end, when the song's notes kind of, like, double, you have, like, 2 different octaves playing, I think, at once. Like, in the song, it kind of splits into the dual part, which is just an awesome touch. Everything is just represented so well. All the mystical parts of the song are sort of represented, like, in, like, a more spacey sort of aesthetic. It's great. I love the way this level looks and plays. Or, oh, sorry, misspoke. Looks and feels atmospherically. But the plays part is mostly accurate. I love the gameplay in about, like, 75% of this level. Once you get to the past that part with, like, the rotating sides, like, at the beginning of the space section, it gets so much better. Like, it's so fun, especially the drop. The drop has its awkward moments. There's a couple of clicks that just feel, like, sort of off. Like, here and there, you'll feel like you died unfairly. It was just kind of, like, weird level design. But overall, I just loved playing the back half of this level. I hated playing the front half. The front half is just absolutely terrible. Like, the first 20% of this level is so much harder than the rest. And, like, if that weren't the case, first of all, I think this would probably be, like, an insane demon and not an extreme. Extreme's already borderline. But, like, if we, you know, if we pretend the level's balanced for a second, I feel like it'd be easier. But I also think the back half wouldn't be nearly as difficult as it is because it would just be less stressful. Like, every time you get past 20% in this level, the stakes just rise dramatically, and there's no real reason for that because, like, it's not very hard past that point. I feel like I could have gotten so much faster if it weren't for the beginning. Like, the beginning has its cool moments, and it's a very nice atmospheric start to the level, but then you have clicks like the stupid pink orbs, like where you have to like brush up against the ceiling spikes. That just drives me insane. I hate that. Like, I don't know. I could go on and on. At the end of the day, I like this level. I've decided this will become like, there will be a reason for this in the future, but for now, I've decided to withhold ratings from Extreme Demons. Because I'm only going to do one Extreme Demon a month going forward. That's the plan. And I'd like to, you know, utilize that mystery for something greater in the future. So for now, I'm not going to assign a rating to this, so you can kind of draw conclusions from my description. Overall, I think it's pretty good. The beginning kind of made the experience miserable. That's all I'm really going to say on it. I won't assign a rating, but in the future, we'll revisit someday, and I'll do that for every Extreme Demon I play for the next 12 months. But for now, I'm gonna remain mysterious about that. At the end of the day, I will say I overall do like this level. It has some pretty major flaws, but we'll see where this lands in a year's time. Yeah, okay, honestly, I'm not gonna lie, considering that I started this month like 10 days late, I'm kind of proud of what I've put together in the limited time I have. Like, if the Lost Existence last month didn't destroy me, I probably would have been better off. And also Elixir just like set me up for failure for some reason. This should never have taken as long as it did. But honestly, all things considered, what I put together this month, I'm pretty proud of. I know I'm one day over time. I know it's February 1st as of this completion, but hey, that's not a bad showing given the context. So I'm just gonna roll with it. Just hoping for a little better next month, but that's gonna do it for this one. Oh, not bad.